Hi students, in this video discuss about structured coding language. The structured coding language discuss about introduction, characteristics of features of SQL, history of SQL, advantages of SQL. First of all, what is SQL? The SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Is the standard command to set the communicate with the Relational Database Management System. The task related to relational data management, creating tables, querying database, modifying and deleting and the data so on to done on the SQL. SQL statement can generated through the various software package, SQL generator and application development environment. SQL must carefully examine, verified the tuned and optimized irrespective being the written or generated. SQL is the non-procedural or declarative database language maintain what data to be retrieved rather than how to retrieve. It is used for data definition or creating and modifying the structure, data manipulation, inserting, deleting and updating records, data retrieval, query data, access control, granting and revoke the permission, transaction control, commit and rollback operations. Next, characteristics of SQL. SQL is the nature extremely flexible. The user free from syntax and give the user ability to structure the SQL statement in the best way. SQL request and passed with the RDBMS before the execution to check the proper syntax. Initially intended to the query language, which have now the transformed to the complete database language. SQL is the language to interact with the database. The first commercial database is supported to SQL was Oracle in 1979. Next one is history of SQL. The SQL, the programming language, was developed in the 1970 by the IBM, the researcher Raymond Byers and Donald Cambry. It was until several years later, however, the SQL language was made publicly available. In 1979, a company called the Relational Software, which later becomes Oracle, the commercial released its own version of SQL called as Oracle V2. Since then, the American National Standard Institute and the International Organizations of Standard have been deemed SQL is the standard language in the relational data communication. While the major SQL vendor modifying the language to the desire, the most of the SQL program on the ANSI approved versions. The ANSI SQL standard were first published in 1986 and updated in 89 and 92, then 99. Advantages of SQL. The SQL is the high-level language that provides the greater degree of abstraction than the procedural language. The SQL enables and the end user system personnel to deal with the number of database management system where it is available. The applications written in SQL can ported easily across the system. SQL is the independent way implement the internally a query returns the same and some regardless of whether the optimizing has been indexed or not. SQL is no more merely query language. Some language can be used the data structure, control access, delete and modifying the data. SQL operations are performed where the set level one set select statement can retrieve the multiple rows and one modify statement can multiple rows. Thank you.